Welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast, strategies that help entrepreneurs build reputable and profitable brands. Here's your host, Henry Kaminski Jr.
The story behind the Eboost brand. Stay tuned, guys. I have the founder of the brand Eboost, and he is going to share with us his story on how he came to develop and build such a popular and successful brand. My guest today is Josh Taekman, the founder of Eboost. What's going on, Josh?
What's happening, man? How are you? Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming on. I know you're busy. You're at a festival right now. So, dude, real quick, give people the 4 or 5 minute background story on you and how you started this brand Eboost and what this brand Eboost is.
Okay. So my background is I used to be in the music industry. I worked for Sean, P. Diddy, Puffy Combs at Bad Boy Entertainment. I was VP of marketing and all business development. And I did that for about 6 years. And when I was there, I really learned the power of artists and the ability for them to influence and educate their fan base more effectively than a celebrity or an athlete, because music artists are global. They're not tied to a specific region, and usually the affection that their fans have for them is much deeper and inspirational than a traditional athlete or a celebrity. So what I always realized with Puffy and what our goal was with him is like, how do we build brands leveraging his marketing ability without having to spend money on hard dollars on media? Because at the time, MTV was probably the number one source where kids and kind of pop culture got their cues on fashion, on music, on trend, on style. And when you're able to tie in with an artist that controlled so much of those airwaves between himself and his artists and his network of friends, he was at the forefront of product placement and integration of brand and telling stories for things that he had a vested interest in. So after I left after I left Bad Boy, I started my own marketing agency where I was working with brands and helping them market their product kind of to that urban pop culture segment. And it was at that time that I had a big supplement manufacturer come to me and said he wanted to create a line of vitamins for the urban market. And what he presented to me, he definitely had the capabilities in terms of like, he was a huge contract manufacturer. He had his own brands of product that were distributed, in all the vitamin shops and GNCs and mass retail channels. He didn't really have a brand that was interesting, that transcended into the pop culture segment. And what he developed for the audience that he wanted to reach was completely off the mark. So I said, what we should do is we should go partner with this kid, 50 Cent, who has this whole crew called G-Unit, and we should create G-Unit vitamins. And this is 4 or 5 years before he did anything with vitamin water. This is literally after the success of his mixtape, right before he really got deep into his album. But I knew that this kid was going to be big just from being in the industry and getting all the feedback and hearing the songs in the clubs. I'm like, this guy's going to be the next big thing. So I actually had a deal done with 50 to create G-Unit vitamins, and in typical hip-hop fashion, he unfortunately did not make the last meeting. He was stuck in New Jersey instead of being able to go out to Long Island, and leaving the next day to go to Europe for, I think, 3 months. So when you don't show up to a meeting, that usually doesn't sit well with the guy at the other side of the table. So unfortunately, the guy says, listen, I can't be in business with someone that doesn't take it serious enough to show up to what I think is an important meeting. He goes, so for that reason, I'm out. And so he tapped out of the deal and left me frustrated and angry that I put a lot of time and resources and had a big idea. And the only thing that derailed was him physically not showing up. So I was sitting with a friend, and he's like, well, why do you need, these hip-hop guys always find a way to fuck it up for you at the last second. Why don't you do something on your own? Why don't we do something together? And so we kind of looked around at the category in the market and just selfishly thinking of ourselves. We're like, you know what? There's really no healthy energy products out there. Like, I'm not a guy that's going to drink a Red Bull, except occasionally in a nightclub with vodka. But I'd never drink it in the day. I would never drink a Monster or any of those other highly caffeinated, artificially infused beverages. On the powder side, there's a product in Europe called Baraka that I liked a lot. And whenever I traveled outside the country, I'd always bring it back. And there's always a handful of specialty stores or pharmacies that carried it. And then in the US, there's products like Emergency and Airborne. I said, what if we took a hybrid? What if we, focused on something that was all natural and clean and better for you, loaded it with all the essential vitamins and minerals that your body needs on a day-to-day basis, like B12 and zinc and potassium and vitamin C, and then also put natural energy in there. So our source of energy was green tea. I said, so I want a healthy lift of energy, but I also want all those essential vitamins. So it's really like I could take this and feel great all day. And so that was the thesis of what to create. And then we selfishly just went out and partnered with a manufacturer until we got a product that we personally loved and that we took and we felt the difference. So it took us about 6 months to develop the product. And then we said, this goes back, though. We've been around for, coming on 11 years. And at the time, this is before the market crashed. I said, let's think about this like a fashion brand, or the way Voss Water thought about where and how they sold and marketed their water. Initially, Voss Water was only in hotels or white tablecloth restaurants or very high-end locations, no C-stores or mass retail. I said, let's build this brand much more fashionable lifestyle as opposed to traditional. So we looked at hotels, we looked at airlines, we looked at places like the cafes and Nordstrom's, the high-end gyms like Equinox and Lifetime Fitness and the boutique studios. And our very first client was the W Hotels, where they put it in every minibar across every hotel room. And then we quickly got into all the hotel properties in Vegas and Miami and Chicago and New York. And so we had a nice footprint in all these cool high-end hotels, which ultimately became amazing awareness, but very little volume. Like the transactions and turns were super small in hotel rooms, unless you're like an M&M peanut or a Coca-Cola. But it was great awareness. And then we got on Virgin America. So again, great awareness, not huge volume. So we really built our brand through these non-traditional channels. And this is right when Amazon was starting to get big, or starting to transition above and beyond just books, but selling, across all categories. So we were kind of an early mover in Amazon and our direct to consumer. We were one of the first ones to be selling online. And so we really always thought about like how to build this business more through specialty channels as opposed to traditional mass, because you got to have real money, a real mix of products so you can take up enough shelf space to get a good footprint. And then you got to have a big infrastructure to be able to support each of those stores and support them. So we've kept it very nimble and limited in resources and try to be as non-conventional as possible.
I love it. I love it. What a story. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, either phenomenal or I'm a moron.
So I got a couple questions. One is, how did you get into the W Hotels? Like, how did you get your breaks?
The one thing, especially after working with Puffy for 6 years, I was able to develop a pretty good network of people between me and my partner. My partner was actually very friendly with the president of the W Hotel, so he gave him the product, and the guy's like, I got to put this in all my rooms. So one of our kind of competitive advantages is our network that we're able to tap into. So a lot of this initial stuff that we depended upon was really just, calling on favors to friends or friends of friends.
Interesting. Let me ask you
more
this.
importantly, we had a product that people liked, right? Like, you can get to people, but if you don't have a product that doesn't deliver on the promise or isn't unique or something that could add value, then it doesn't necessarily go anywhere.
Yeah, well, you know what really, I'm going to be honest with you. What really caught my attention was the cans, the can design. Yeah. Like, you're kicking the butt or you're kicking the can?
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, so we always try to have like a personality and a unique design and aesthetic, and try and tell a unique story in our product, because we don't want to be conventional. We don't want to do what everyone else is doing. And so the genesis of the can was, we've had this, our super powder was our legacy product. And for 10 years, we're like, well, the holy grail is always to be in beverage. But to play in the beverage game, it's a very, very, very expensive business. The weights and measures of the product, it's not easy to move around. You have to have distributors in place. You need to have salespeople. You need to have merchandisers. It's a very heavy lift. Like, anyone that thinks they can build a successful beverage brand without raising at least $25 million is going to be extremely challenged. So we are very fortunate that we built enough cult-like following around our super powder And I'd become friendly with the owners of Arizona Beverage's sons, and they were personal fans of the product. That I just pitched them. I said, listen, the window now for emerging better for you brands, that's where consumers are going. Our product is much more than energy. You know, as big as Red Bull and Monster and all those guys' business are, millennials are not starting there for energy. They're looking for healthier, better for you, more functional, benefit-driven products. I said, we have a product that can transcend into a beverage if we make it taste great. It will deliver on the promise. If we put the same packet in that can, people will love it. And so I finally got them to a place where like, all right, let's test it. I'll make you 500,000 cans. Go out in the market. It could take you 6 months. It could take you 12 months, but prove to me that there's a market for this product. So we launched it kind of called late March. And I can tell you right now, we're already on our second production run, and we've already ordered materials for our third production. So the product is exceeding everyone's expectations, especially on Arizona's side, because there's a void in the market for products that give you a really healthy lift of energy, plus all these other great functional benefits and taste great, low sugar, low calories.
That is amazing, dude. That is, congratulations. So I'm going to take it off the table and say that you're not a moron.
Okay. Well, for 10 years, my wife would say otherwise. Like, why would you endure so much pain and suffering in something?
Well, listen, at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, at the end of the day, you ask yourself, is it worth it? And you know, it's either a yes or a no. But you know what? Listen, I'm on the website now, and I'm just looking at the different categories you have. You have powders, you have the cans. You know, the aesthetic of the design is gorgeous. I love what you said before about these metaphoric brands. Can you talk about that?
In terms of like what the other brands are doing or what we're doing?
No, about what you're doing. I want to keep focus on you guys, but like,
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, you got to talk to the consumer. They need to know why they don't have a big attention span. So we talk about the benefits. It's less about our brand. They'll know who the brand is, but they want to know, why am I taking this product? Mm-hmm. So we really tried to make it engaging and something that would catch their attention, but also like our pre-workout is called your workout crusher. It's pretty straightforward. Why would I take this product? Oh shit, if I want to work out, I want my workout crusher. I want to crush my workout. Our powders are called super powders. They're just not powders, they're super powders. So it really gives you that kind of like super feeling when you take the product. So everything that we do, you want to feel the benefit, feel the effect. And we like to say it only works if you take it.
Interesting. Where'd you get the name from? Eboost.
You know, we just came up with it because kind of at the core of the product is energy and the idea of a boost, and we're just like Eboost. It's just like it just clicks. And surprisingly, there is Boost, which is that nutritional shake from Nestle, but there's nothing else in the category where that was trademarked. And so we trademarked, and that's been the name. I mean, we've changed the logo a bit over the years, but that's the name really sticks. And it has, you know, people will be like, oh, you boosted, I'm boosted. So there's a fun play on the words too.
I love it. I'm taking some notes here. What festival are you at again?
It's not a festival. It's a fancy food show.
Oh. Okay. So where are you based out of?
New York City.
So you're in New York. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I love this, man. I absolutely. So where do you see the brand going in the next 12 to 24 months?
Well, global for sure at some point. But the United States is such a big market to tackle. There's so many. Here's the unique thing about beverages. There's so many places to sell the product. It's gotten more competitive than ever before in terms of like the functionalities and all that. But between corporate offices, hotels, cruise ships, natural channels, specialty channels, gyms, mass markets, direct to consumer, you're really not limited. So as resourceful and as creative you can be, and as identifying who your customer is and getting the product in their hand, you can influence your outcome if you're resourceful and creative. If you're just sitting around waiting for a Walmart or a Target or a big retailer to sign on, then you're dead in the water. Yeah. You really have to think outside the box. You got to think about the need states of your consumers and where can you intersect them through multiple points of their life.
And who is your ideal consumer?
You know, everyone will put like an age bracket. To me, it's anyone looking for a healthy lift. our product is dual gender. It appeals to women as much as it does men, which is really challenging to create something that both people can feel comfortable taking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that deodorant, strong enough for a man, but made for a woman.
Yep.
In dual gender packaging. So we've had a lot of success in gyms and corporate offices, in specialty, in natural food stores. There's definitely interest from the C stores and the mass channels, but we're really trying to build the brand with millennials. Okay. It's really connecting with them from the color waves and the call outs in the brand. But like I said, my 78-year-old mother drinks it. My 79-year-old father drinks it every time he goes golfing or in the morning or the afternoon. And then, everyone in my sister's office, a bunch of young millennials in a fashion company drink it. So it really kind of runs the gamut on who, why, and when they would take it.
I love it. Well,
and what we're finding is a lot of coffee drinkers are making the switch to this product.
Interesting. Why so?
It's a healthier, better for you. It's delicious. It's low sugar, low calories. It gives them a better lift of energy and focus.
Where can we find Eboost?
It's in all Lifetime Fitnesses. It's in all Sprouts. It's in HEB. It's on Amazon. It's going into Whole Foods in the Northeast region. New York, we're 300-400 doors in New York. So we just get it out there.
Beautiful. So I have to ask this question because I know my audience will ask it of me.
Yes.
Josh sounds like a great guy. It sounds like he really leveraged his connections, but we all didn't grow up underneath Diddy, and we don't have that sort of connection. So my question is, how did you meet Diddy, and how did you form that connection? Because that'll give us some idea of how do you create a connection like that, leverage it, and then go on to do bigger and greater things for yourself.
Well, I actually met a guy that was going to be the president of his record label, and I cold called him, and I just said, I have an idea. I think I can create a marketing agency within Bad Boy, because all corporate American brands want to figure out how to speak to this highly valuable urban consumer. And hip-hop music was just taking over, right? It quickly became the largest music format and took over rock and roll in the late 90s. Yep. And so it was a perfect storm of timing. He was becoming an overnight success from being a very successful producer and having amazing artists like Biggie and Mace and Total and Faith Evans. Yeah. And so I said I could build this bridge between corporate America and business opportunities and the label outside of just helping market the artists. And so I pitched them on the idea, and unfortunately I had to eat what I kill. So there was no salary. There's no guaranteed payment. I had to prove myself. And so I started in the mailroom. And my very first deal I did was I got Pepsi to be the title sponsor of his national tour. And he quickly realized that I could add value, and I quickly was able to, gain his trust and end up being partners with him on a marketing agency and doing a lot of stuff for 5-6 years with him.
Beautiful. I love it. All right, let's hit the doc's prescription, because I got to get you on your way. I really appreciate your time. I really do. This is a great little story here, and I'm sure my audience is gonna enjoy this. Now, a couple things, guys, that I want to point out to you guys that Josh did extremely well. He saw gaps, he saw opportunities, and he had the confidence to step up and say, you know what? I see an issue here, and I have the audacity, I have the tenacity and the gall to take it on head on and make it happen. And so for you folks that are waiting for the next, Diddy to come along and say, oh, you look like a sharp guy, I'm just going to hire you and see what happens. It's not going to happen. You heard it from Josh's mouth. You have to make it happen, show the value, and then they're going to bring you on to do bigger and better things with them. And then you never know what that's going to turn out to be. So that's number one. Number two, I think Josh said it at least a dozen times in this interview about knowing who your consumer and customer are. You hear me talking about this in nauseam. But if you don't know who you're selling to, you are dead in the water. The other thing that I love about Eboost is that it does have these very catchy color schemes. He has a very catchy titles to their cans and their products. Very, very important when you're building your products and services out, that you come with a unique approach. You know, his cans say, "You're kicking the can." You know, it's clever, it's catchy. You know, it's memorable. These are all small building blocks of branding that could really turn your business around. Then last but not least, he leveraged his networks tremendously. So he was out there doing what he needed to do to get in front of the right people to make the right things happen. Josh wouldn't be where he's at today if he didn't put himself out there as much as he did to form these connections. Guys, business is a team sport, so you have to build that all-star team and leverage and resource, or I should say allocate your resources as well as you can. So those are my 3 or 4 takeaways from today's conversation. Now, the question from the community today is this. Let me get it up here for a second here. Okay, so this question comes in and it says, people always tell me that they love what I do and my content is amazing, yet they never buy. So how do I get my business out of the friend zone? So Josh, let me kick that over to you. What do you think? How would you get out of the friend zone?
You know, that's a tough challenge, right? I have friends that they take as much free product as they can get for me, but I never one time hear about them saying they bought it. So I've gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? Do you like our product? Yep. Do you enjoy when you take it? Yep. Do you feel great and do more when you take it? Great. I said, so imagine if I stopped giving it to you and you actually had to go and purchase it, but you knew that you felt great every time you take it. And forget that it's my product. It's just to call it another product. You would probably buy that, wouldn't you? Like if there was a bakery next to your place and you love the way their bagel tastes and you loved how you felt after you take it every day in the morning, you would probably go out of your way to buy that every single day. I said, if you feel the same way about our product, I need you to support me. I can't keep giving you free product. I'm not going to build my business with giving you free product. So you kind of have to put it in that terms with them. And like, if you're my friend, but I'm only asking you to buy it if you really like it. If it really makes a transformational experience for you on your day and when you take it, and why you take it, and what the outcome is. So if those things actually connect for you, then do me a favor and start buying it. And tell 5 friends.
I love it. I love it. What a way. That is a beautiful setup and close right there. You know, the way I would follow suit. I would take a little bit of a different approach, but at the same time, a lot of you folks are putting out amazing content. And I think everyone that is telling you this, the person that's writing in, you know, you probably have amazing content, but let me ask you a question. Are you asking for the sale? And if the answer is no, and are you asking for the sale enough? If you're not, well, then you're getting friend zoned. I mean, that's it.
Here's the fact. If you don't ask, you won't receive it. And you have to be shameless. If you're going to have your own business, you have to absolutely be shameless.
I love it.
So you have to find a way to do it with as much class as you can, but you can't be afraid to put it out there. You can't be afraid to ask.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Josh, where can we learn more about Eboost and more about what you're doing?
Eboost.com.
You are so simple, my friend.
Yeah, I make it easy. And listen, I encourage all of your listeners, if you want to feel great and do more, I give you 100% money back guarantee. Try the product. And if you don't like it, email me, josh@eboost.com, and I'll venue your money back. And if you love it, let me know and tell 5 friends.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's all I have for today, guys. I kept this one short and sweet. Hope you enjoyed it. Real quick before I forget, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to write a quick little written review if you're enjoying this content. Last but not least, guys, the Brand Yourself course is out. It is jam-packed with value that is going to help you tremendously build a profitable and reputable brand for yourself. This is 13 years of experience put into this course, and I left no rock unturned with it. The link is in the description. Get it now and start building a profitable and reputable brand for yourself. I'm out. I will catch you on the next episode too. Guys, have an amazing day. Peace.
You've been listening to the Brand Doctor Podcast with Henry Kaminski Jr. To get your appointment with the doctor, visit Brand Audit at www.uniquedesigns.net.